Hi guys, welcome. So behind me on the counter today we have Phoenix EOD. First off, shout out to Phoenix EOD. I met Aaron on Instagram. He saw my channel and he basically just sent me one of everything they have. I didn't even have to ask really. So I'm tremendously thankful for that. These videos are expensive. I don't detail for a living, so I'm often buying these products out of pocket and paying for them 100% myself. So whenever a brand is willing to send me stuff to test out, I really appreciate that. That being said, I'm going to give you an honest review of these products. I've had a lot of really good products lately, Detail Co. and ADS and Pan and Labro Cosmetica and a bunch of others that have been really good. But I do have one of everything from Phoenix EOD, what they call the kitchen sink. We'll just kind of go through them all one at a time and we'll talk about what we've got here and what we're planning to do. So they're compound, Papa Cut, Fabulous, their finishing polish, Glossum Wax, Peleus Panel Prep, the Kraken, which is an all-purpose cleaner. Now they give you this as a concentrate, but they also give you a bottle to dilute it in that is labeled. So I actually do really like that. When you go to something like Labro Cosmetica and you get an APC, it comes as a product that needs to be diluted, 3 to 1, 5 to 1, 10 to 1, something along those lines, but they don't give you a bottle for it, so you end up pulling your own bottle out, which is fine, but then it's not labeled. So in this case, you have a diluted bottle that's already labeled as ready to use and has, all of the normal guidelines and directions and stuff like that on it. Typhoon, which is an interior cleaner and odor neutralizer, again, concentrate in a spray bottle. Here we have the Furies, which is an iron remover and wheel cleaner, Apex Auto Wash, Hydra, which is their rinseless, Titan, which is their detailer, Immortal, which is a ceramic spray coating, and Kronos, which is a ceramic coating, like an actual ceramic coating. This one's labeled as 9H, and this one is labeled as 7H. These should be the newest version of all of these products. I know that they've had a couple versions that have come out over the years. I appreciate the fact that manufacturers come out with new versions. I do wish that they would call it out a little bit on their bottles. Version 2, version 3, version 4, version 5. I understand why they do it, because otherwise all of their vendors get stuck with version 2 products or version 3 products when they come out with the new, version 4. But it does make it a little bit difficult as as somebody who's doing these review videos to determine, is this the newest version? Am I sure that I have the newest one? And, all of that kind of stuff, but kind of is what it is. Also off to the side here, I have a couple other things. I have Armor's Glass Coating, I have Ghost, and I have Phobic. So what we're going to be doing here, and I've been putting this off for a little while, mostly because I don't want to do it. So behind me here, this is my 2016 Mini Cooper John Cooper Works 2-door. I've had this car for almost 4 years, and it's been an awesome car. I've loved it, but I think it's time to sell it. I've been, kicking this around for the better part of a year, truthfully. And I just haven't done it because, it's one of those things. It's not really depreciating, but I hardly drive it. I hardly drive either of these, honestly, and I should spend double the time in one of them and no time in the other one, honestly. It's just one of those things. I think it's time. I think it's time for it to go. I've had it for 4 years. I bought it with 40,000 miles. It has 60 on it now, and we're getting there. So we're going to start off. We're going to do a rinseless wash on it. The rinseless wash will, be my normal procedure. Then we're going to work through a paint correction and a ceramic coating. And I'm just doing this because, one, it allows me to test all these products. This car currently doesn't have a coating on it. And two, it's going to make sure that the car is as clean as it can possibly be for the next person who ends up buying it. And, there's a possibility that I end up consigning it at a dealership or something like that, or trading it on something else, and, it just goes unnoticed by the next person. But I don't know. It's just how I feel I need to wrap up the experience of owning and having this vehicle is by, having it leave me. In a lot of ways, it's better than it was. When I bought the car, yes, it had 40,000 miles, and yes, it now has 60. But it also has a tune. It's also lowered. It brakes and an intake and downpipe and, a bunch of things that made the car perform significantly better without giving up too much in terms of ride quality. We lost a little bit with the lowering springs, but honestly, this has the adaptive dampeners and we left those on. And it performs really, really well. So I think it'd be a great car for the next person. So what we're gonna do is we're going to mix up some rinseless, and then we will get to work washing this car. So in this bucket I have 4 gallons of water. We're gonna open up the Hydra. It's got a nice, one of these rubber stoppers on it. Ooh, it's got a good smell. So it's definitely bubble gum. Now they say 1 ounce to 1 gallon, which means that this dilutes at about half of what everything else does. So, you know, Hero, Nemesis, Absolute, DIY, those are all 256 to 1. 1 ounce to a gallon would be 128 to 1. So I'm just calling that out there. You'd have to actually compare the costs to be able to determine like whether that makes it a worse or better value. In general, rinseless is a less expensive proposition than you know, washing your car with soap in most cases, especially if you're using DI water and resin and everything else that goes into it. I've got here a Solo sprayer, Solo 260. This is my current favorite Solo sprayer. I had the 460 before it, but the 460, I ran into issues with it kind of clogging up when I was using it with rinseless, and then, well, the vent would clog up, not the sprayer. And then what would end up happening is it would kind of collapse the bottle when you were spraying. But these batteries last forever. The sprayer works really, really well. I like it a lot. Highly recommend it, especially for something like this. So you just pull the trigger and it sprays. So we'll go around, we'll spray the whole car. You're going to be paying special attention to the bugs on the front of the car, down here on this black, and also there's some here on the headlights. I already cleaned the windshield on this to do the DIY, or the Detail Co. Glass cleaner test. So I will get to clean the side windows though. All right. Now, if I didn't have a Solo sprayer, I would use this. This is a Marilex Industry 1000. It's a pump sprayer, so you can pump this up and it sprays. A very similar spray pattern to this. You'd go through pretty much the whole bottle on a car. This is a 1000 or a 1 liter bottle, just like that is. I used these for a long time before I got the Solo sprayer. I could easily go back to it if I had to. I'm actually excited about the new IK 2 liter foamer that's about to come out. I think it's going to be coming out in January, although it is going to be expensive. These Solo sprayers are like 45 bucks. I want to say the Marilex is right around the same. Something like that. It's been a while since I bought one, so forgive me if I'm slightly off on the price. But the IK, I want to say is like 129, something like that, but it is battery powered and it is a foamer. And foamers do tend to be more expensive. I have a Marilex foamer, the axle foamer they call it, but I haven't really had good luck with that. I haven't really been able to get it to foam very well. It requires a ton of pumping, and I don't know if I just got a dud or what, so I never really reviewed it because I didn't have another one to compare it to. But we'll see when the IK comes, how that works. Which I don't even have it ordered yet because it's not even out yet. I'm using the Detail Co. Nemesis sponge. I like the Nemesis sponge, mostly because of the color. Makes it easy to see if you have dirt stuck in it. That bug wiped right off. That's cool. Well, one hit. Nice. So with these sponges, you don't put a lot of pressure. You're just kind of gliding it like this. So I just kind of rest my palm on it. Kind of like if you're polishing, just kind of rest your palm on the head of the polisher and then hit it. really liking rinseless. I wasn't really a rinseless guy for a long time. Part of that's probably growing up with snow and dirt and all of that kind of stuff on my cars in the northeast part of the country. We're going to zoom in here on the bugs, and it might be a little hard to see on the camera, but there's kind of spots all over here. And I'm just going to hit this, go over this once, and then this bottom piece. And what we see is almost 100% cleanup on the bugs. So really this strip is 100% clean. There's a little bit right here, so maybe we'll just hit this one more time. Get this top edge and this bottom edge. But yeah, it does a good job. It's good in the bucket. The sponge is coming out clean. It's releasing dirt, as you would expect. The backside of this is a little black because I grabbed a wheel with it on one of my other cars. But honestly, it's doing a great job. Like I said, it has a smell. The smell is pleasant, but it's not strong. So, you know, I could just as easily say that it doesn't have a smell and be okay with that. Maybe we could let it dry on a panel, just test it off. So I'll dry everything else. We'll leave the hood and we'll see if we get spotting and stuff. Doesn't look like I will. This towel's a Gauntlet. It's a Rag Company towel. It's my current favorite drying towel. I use the medium size, 16 by 27. If you've watched my videos, you've heard me say this before. They make the small one and a larger one. The bigger one is just too big. You end up hitting the ground with it accidentally, especially on low cars like this. So this does a good job on windows. Comes off nice and clean, no streaks. Flip it inside out to buff it. All right. So we're going to let the center of this hood dry. I just got kind of all the edges of it and see how that turns out. All right, so it's been like 20 minutes and it's still not quite dry, but there's some spots where it is. So I would say for one thing, it stays wet for a long time. I don't really see any spotting, even in the spots where it did dry. I was able to kind of wipe it right off. So it feels very safe to me. Now, in terms of slickness, while using it, the slickness was fine. I didn't have any problems with it. Sponge wasn't sticking anywhere. Things like bugs and dirt broke down very easily. It's very squeaky. There is a little bit of slickness that I can feel, but it is clean. And it seems like maybe the slickness builds a little bit over time because these fenders are a lot slicker than the hood. The roof is slicker than anything, and yeah, there's probably a little bit of drying or curing that needs to happen. So there does feel to be a little bit of protection left behind because we do have like some slickness or some gloss enhancement. So that's Hydra. Now, normally I would follow this with the detailer, and I would use that as a drying aid or a gloss enhancer or spray sealant or whatever the heck you want to call it. I've always called it drying aid because I normally use OG drying aid, which is called drying aid. And I normally do it right now. And people ask in my videos, why do you wait until the car is dry to do it? Well, there's a reason for that. Because the SiO2 loads up these towels and makes it so that they push water around instead of absorbing them. That's really the main reason. So I have a separate towel, which is a Rag Company FTW, that I use with the gloss enhancer, drying aid, spray, sealant, whatever you want to call it. And you could spray it on the towel, you could spray it on the paint, you could spray it however you want to. I probably put a little bit too much on. Looks like a little bit less would have been the answer. So we can flip this over and try another panel. I don't want to go crazy with this because I am going to polish this car. And I don't want to have to get it off. I don't want to spend a lot of time getting it off. So now that's got some good slickness. Okay, that's like a drying aid. That feels great. So I like that. What is that called? Titan Hybrid Detailer. That's a good one. Works well on glass. We are getting some of that fogging action, which we've had before. I have, there's a glass coating on this from, it's Aqua Velox from Labro Cosmetica, and I've had other sealants or spray detailers kind of give that reaction before. Pans did it too, the Clean by Pan spray sealant. But yeah, you just don't need a lot. Like a single spray on a door is really all you need. A single spray per panel. Seems to be pretty forgiving. Now, let's see. I'm going to spray this. Well, let's get a little bit on the window because that'll be easier to see. But I want to see what happens when it dries. If I end up with like high spots that I then have trouble removing. But this works really, really well. And I'm like halfway through applying it on the whole car, but I have to go through and polish the car, so I shouldn't be doing that. But that's a great product. I could totally use that on a regular basis. Yeah. Comes right off. That works really well. Okay, cool. So Hydra worked really well as a rinseless, or well, yeah, rinseless in this case, car wash. 128:1 is a little bit stronger of a dilution than most of the other chemicals provide, so it might not be the best value there. I don't know that I like it better than Hero or better than Nemesis. It does feel very in the middle to me. It had good cleaning power, it broke down the bugs, things came off fairly easily. The smell isn't very strong, so I like that, but it does smell good. I just don't know that it's better than either of those, in my opinion. And I mean, like, we're getting into personal preference. These are all excellent products. It's really hard to say one way or the other. As far as the bottles are concerned, I like the bottles. I think that they work really well. They give you, you know, kind of the sprayers are all the same. These clear sprayers, which I've used before, they work fairly well. They're not the best. They're not the worst. They're very similar to like the Chemical Guys bottles. They have a similar size, similar style sprayer. You'll likely have problems with them in the future on like the wheel cleaner, but maybe not. We'll play around with that and see, or the APC. I do love that they give you a dilution bottle. That's a really cool thing. I wish that other manufacturers would do that as well. CarPro has like a generic dilution bottle, but you know, knowing that they're going to give you a concentrate along with an empty bottle is actually, it's a great idea, and everyone else should do it too. Yeah, so Titan and Hydra, both winners in my book. Titan I really, really like. It's got great slickness. I want to play around with it in direct sunlight and in some other circumstances, but it did really, really well. One thing that I do want to test out, so on an area where I didn't apply Titan, how does this work? So there is some slickness left behind, but it's really not bad. It feels pretty clean. So kind of like Hero, you know, Hero leaves some slickness behind, some protection. They call it a non-durable polymer. But if you spray a panel prep on it, you can kind of wipe it right off. I'm not getting a lot of streaks from the panel prep, so I like that. Seems really easy to use. This is probably pretty simple. It smells almost like straight alcohol or diluted isopropyl alcohol, like it's almost entirely alcohol. It doesn't really have a smell behind it like Armor's panel wipe does. And you could see that even that fogging that I had from the Aqua Velox rejecting the Titan, I was able to just wipe that right off. So it does work well as a window cleaner. They don't have a specific glass cleaner, but this could work well for that. Or I think that Hydra or Titan both could as well. That's all for today. Titan, Hydra, they both seem like winners to me. Hydra worked well as a rinseless wash. I don't know that it's my favorite, but I would say that it's very, very usable, easily top 5. Very good product. I like the way that it broke down bugs. I like the slickness that it leaves behind. I don't know that I like it as much as Hero or Nemesis, honestly. Those are my 2 favorites right now. And I have the DIY V2 sitting over there as well, which I haven't tested yet. It feels more aggressive than Hero, and it seems safer than Nemesis, like it's kind of sitting in the middle of those 2 products, just my feeling. There is good slickness left behind. You can remove the slickness using the panel prep pretty easily, so I like that. The Titan Hybrid Detailer I think worked excellent as like a drying aid or detail spray or whatever you want to call it. It worked really well. It's got great slickness. I didn't really notice the smell. Yeah, it's got a good smell too. I don't know what to call it. Smells fruity. It's green, so I want to say like kiwi or something like that, but it does smell really good. It seems solid, so I really like Titan actually. I like that quite a bit. Hydra's really great. It feels like Absolute or Fine Lab or one of the others that I've tested before. Like it's a great product. It worked very, very well. So that's all for today. I'm going to continue going here, but I'm going to stop the video here so that the next video will be in a couple minutes where I'm playing with the panel prep spray and the Papa Cut and Fabulous finishing polish and testing those products out, seeing how they work, continuing to work through the line. I do like the bottles. I think they're handsome. I think they look good on the shelf. I did go through a fair amount of Hydra for my first use. Now I mixed up 4 gallons. I probably could have done 2 and only used half of that. But you know, I personally like the smoke looking bottles better. Like this Detail Co bottle looks full even though it's not. It's missing a couple ounces of product. Or Armor Detail Supply does that as well. That's just, again, personal preference, but I think that they look good on the shelf. I normally don't love when companies have custom names like Hydra and Titan or like Revitox or Primus or whatever. Like I would rather them just say on the bottle what they are, personally. I think it's easier to read. But at least they don't like hide it. It doesn't just say like Hydra, it says Hydra Rinseless Wash. Titan Hybrid Detailer. The Furies wheel remover or wheel cleaner and iron remover. Apex auto wash. Like it's big letters below it what it is. I think the bottles are easy to read. You know, 4 or 5 feet away from me I could read polishing compound or finishing polish or glossum wax. The purple background and the white lettering has good contrast, so it's easy to read. Seems great so far. So stop by tomorrow. We'll be testing out some of the other products, the polishes, and then we'll eventually do a regular like water wash with the Apex Auto Wash and the APC, you know, on an actual dirty car. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching and have a great day.